Hi guys, grab a cup of coffee, come sit down and watch me make the clamshell sling. It's hard to say fast. The clamshell sling from Spencer Ogg Patterns. Now I'm going to do this and I'm going to make a few modifications to the back and I'll give you all those fun shots when I do that. Very easy. It's a nice small bag to make. It's not big. And like I said, I did a little bit of modifications on the back, but we'll show you those in the video. So grab your cup of coffee and come along and watch me make the clamshell sling by Spencer Ogg. Hi everybody, thanks for joining me again. It's Lori over here at Wild Pony Designs, and today I'm going to have a go at making the clamshell sling from Spencer Ogg Patterns, and I'm doing it out of vinyl. I'm going to do a little bit of modifications. I don't want the front pocket as per the pattern, so we're just going to go ahead and start making the outer front panel, and we're going to be using pieces B, C, and D for that. This looks like a fun little waist bag or shoulder bag, I guess you could call it. And these pieces have a little bit of curve on them along these edges here. So we're going to try and make sure we keep that curve when we sew. I guess it helps the little clamshell to kind of pop out a little bit. Okay, we're going to top stitch. We're going to push that seam that we just sewed to the middle outer piece. Give it a little pull, like she said, and try to keep that curve when we're top stitching. Now I don't have any interfacing on this piece. It's pretty sturdy vinyl, and we're going to be lining it with waterproof canvas, so we'll see how that works. They got that little bit of a curve there. Okay. Now we're going to snip our seam allowances within this curve right here. Just small snips, not too big, because her seam allowances are not huge on this. Trim that a little bit. You don't want to go past a 1/4 inch in your snips. Just snipping that curve. I think what I'll do too while I'm here is find my center marks. Oh, I did that already. Okay. Now we're taking the outer piece, and I did not put the zipper pocket on, I just did a plain front. This is for my daughter, so that's what she requested. Just finding my centers on all these pieces. And then we're lining up with the curve. Can you see that? So So it's going to be attached like this. So we're lining it up this way. Now at this point, depending on what you're sewing with and what fabrics you use, you could probably staple this. I do love to staple. I think it holds it pretty easy, but I think this is small enough that we can probably manage with clips today. I'm going to do that top corner. And then we're going to go to this side and pin the straight edge first. And just start easing it around that corner. That's why the clips are important. They help ease that extra fabric. And go up to the top and pin my top side first. And I always like to sew, I think what you call a little bit of a gusset at the top, so I'm going to sew from this side. Excuse me. Grab my stiletto for that. No, I haven't made this before, so we're learning together as we go here. Now, I saw this made at 110%. This is the regular size. I might try the 110% after I've done this one. We'll see how big this one is when we're finished. I'm just going slow around the corners. Just using my stiletto to kind of hold everything in place. I'm not in a hurry. And that's that front, just a clean front without the pocket. Now I'm just going to work my seams out because we're going to top stitch this, and I just want to make sure my seams are pushed all the way out. Out of the way, otherwise they'll be all over the floor. top stitch that. I'm going to try and get the seam towards the outside. I think that's the best way for it to sit. I'm just watching the bottom as I sew and keeping my hands there, make sure the seam allowance is going in the right direction. I'm just making sure my seams are open. Just a little bit of pressure on those seams, but not enough to pull them apart. I just feel that the bottom one's going in the right direction. Once you get to that corner, it's making noise. We're good. Put that light on in the back. Oops, did I lose my bobbin? Thought I heard something. Yep, my bobbin's being stupid. Really stupid. Not today, bobbin, not today. Why does that always have to happen on the top stitching? I'll never know why. Why don't we lose it? I don't think we got very far at all. I just have to do the whole thing all over again. Can't quite see what's black on black. It's hard for me sometimes. We're good there. Right here is where we lost it. Just gonna pull out some. There we go. Pulling everything to the back. I'll just restart the front there. Let me just check first. I always like to run a little piece through when I've changed the bobbin. Just to make sure there's no issues. Now let's see where we lost it. What, right there. Let me move this bobbin here first. I'm gonna show you something, guys. When I'm working with these bobbins, I have these little baby ponytail holders that I get from Target. And I just use those around my bobbins, and they just, while they're windy, because you know that industrial thread kind of likes to unravel all over the place, and that just holds it in place until I'm ready to use it. Okay, let's try this again. going to pull my threads through to the back here where I redid top stitching there. And you can't even tell on the front, see. You can't even see it. So there's that front piece. That's going to be a nice size, I think. Looks like I have a little bit of pen on there from when I marked it. I just keep a little container of these antibacterial wipes that have alcohol in them. I see that silver marking pen that I used is showing up there. It takes it right off. And now we're going to be working on our outer back pocket. I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to use this back pocket because I'm doing it just a little bit different. Instead of attaching the strap to the back of the sling, I'm actually going to be attaching D-rings so it hangs a bit different. And so I'm just not sure yet. I'm going to make it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use it yet. So we're just going to sew around this and leave a little gap for opening. A little bit. Always forget to leave my space for turning. Just going to trim those corners. Different scissors. My iron on. My handy dandy chopstick. Work my corners out. A little time to get those corners poked out, especially when you're using vinyl and waterproof canvas. Just closing up my bottom. I think I might just give that a little bit of a press. I like the corner. Just, it's pretty good. Okay, got a little bit of a press as best I could with materials that I'm using. I'm gonna set that aside because, like I said, I'm not 100% sure I'm gonna use it yet, so we'll see what happens with that. So what I am gonna do that's different, I am gonna use D-rings on the back. Instead of attaching the strap, I'm going to be doing a removable strap. So I'm gonna put D-rings on. So that's what I'm gonna work on now, the little D-ring strap. I cut my strap and I'm just folding the centers in. If I like these, I might make one of these for myself. I'm not big on wearing slings, but they do seem to be quite popular at the moment. I'm going to make 2 of these, one for my daughter and one for her husband when they go away on their honeymoon. Next year. Now I'm just going to sew up each side. Okay, now I have to make sure I know where this is. Let me just make a mark here. So I can just do it by hand too. I think these are 3/4. Yep, hold please. I have to go see if I've got 1 inch. Okay, I do not have any 1 inch hardware. I thought I did, but we'll make this work. It's on the back. If it's a little bit smaller, I'm going to tuck the edges in so it looks a little bit like a connector. Just measuring this to the size that it says in the pattern. That extra. I feel like I've lost my scissors already and I've just used them. You guys do that a lot? Just lose your tools, ones you know you just had. I just put some tape on these to fold them in. And then I have this back strap, and it doesn't look bad that they're the wrong size. But I can't wait for more stuff to come in, so it's got to work. Got to make it work. Check my size again. Yep. Okay. Tape along the back here. reading the directions as I go here just to make sure I put this at the right spot. Top. There's my top. Just making sure that's centered on there. Can you believe the Halloween candies are out already? It's July. And I'm eating a pumpkin. One more. Oops. So that's what I'm doing with the D-rings on either side. Now this is where I have to decide if I want to put the pocket on. I think maybe I do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some double-sided tape. Just hold it in place while I sew. Right along the edges. Oh, that's the top. Now it says to align it with the top of that. I think that's going to be in my seams at the bottom. I might just move it up a little bit. I think right there is good. Just going to measure this the same from both sides. Let's go this way just a bit. That didn't work. Maybe do that. Sometimes tape does not like to stick to waterproof canvas. Just lining up my rulers to make sure they're even. I saw somebody do something the other day which was really nice. She put a little bit of Decaville behind where, when you put your hand in the pocket, she put it on the back side, so when you start to sew, maybe it was Decaville. I'm going to put a piece there because I really thought that was a really good idea. She just slipped it underneath before she, you know, maybe it was heavy. Let me grab a piece of heavy. I just think the heavier would keep it from pulling so much. Where's my heavy? There's some heavy. I keep all my scraps. Okay. Just gonna cut myself 2 little squares. And she just put it right underneath where that top seam will get pulled. I think I'm going to do that too. You know, that Decaville heavy is right at the top there where there's going to be pull, because I'm not using any interfacing on my vinyl. But sometimes, you know, those corners, there's a little bit of extra pull there, so I really thought that was a good idea, and I'm going to try and remember to do that. I'll just trim away a little bit of the excess. Could have made smaller pieces probably, but I just thought that was a really good tip. Okay. So that's the back. Slip pocket, D-rings attached. Now let me see what's next. Okay, I'm going to put my name tag on now. I'll do that before we put it together. Have any name tags yet. I'm gonna order some one of these days. I'm just covering it up. A little bit of duct tape. Okay, the next piece is G. And this is the lining fabric. And there's some indications on the pattern piece for darts. And that's going to help the pattern piece kind of bow and fit in with the front. And I'm going to sew the darts. So basically there's marks there, and I'm just going to fold over to make sure my marks here line up. Put a little clip. I'm going to sew from the top of the dart down to the bottom. I'm going to do a little bit of a smaller stitch too. Right there. Just eyeballing it down to the bottom. That's going to give us that little kind of bow look, so it fits along with that. Same on the other side. Line up my marks. And it's just to press the darts away from the center. So I'm just gonna go to my iron and do that quickly. Now the next step on the pattern is having you sew up a small slip pocket for the inside, but I don't think I'm going to do it. The slip pocket is going to be so small, I really don't think you can fit much in there, so I'm not going to put it in. Now we're going to work on the zipper. Now we're going to take our front piece, our front lining, and our zipper. We're going to mark the centers front and back on the zippers. I think I'm going to get a little bit of double-sided tape on here. And I did use 2 zips on mine. You can do 1 if you want to, but my dog thought it was going to be cute with 2. Let's stick. I'm just going to do this step together. I'm going to do the lining and the zipper all at the same time, so I don't have to do it twice. So we've got the right sides together. I'm going to line up my ends first. There we go. Just seems to be a little bit of extra in there, and I'm just trying to make sure I get it all where it should lay. I think it's just the curve that makes it do that. Okay, I'm going to do that at the seam allowance. My pulls are not anywhere near. Reach underneath and just slide them up all the way. Look how cute that is, guys. Look at that. A little cactus. Oops, sorry, you can't see it. A little cactus zipper pulls that she picked out. Now we have the top stitch. I'm just going to go to my iron and I'm going to press that a little bit. Hold on. Now I gave that a little steam. Obviously I didn't press on my vinyl because it would have melted, so I just did a little, gave it a good shot of steam from the back. So I was able to get those together. I'm going to top stitch along this side through all layers. Again, just take it slow and easy. Don't be in a hurry. Okay. got that nice little curvature to it. It's going to be nice. Okay. Let's see what our next step is. I'm going to match this. And we're matching the two pieces together. We're going to baste these closed. Mine is off a little bit here. My lining and my outside is a tiny bit off. I'll just be careful when I sew it that I make sure I catch those seams. I think it's probably within my seam allowance. This should be okay. I'm just keeping this within the seam allowance. That one's quite a bit off, so I'm not going to baste any further. Let me just see. In my seam allowances, we should be okay. What happens? Oh, it's looking good. Okay, now we're going to add our front and back panels together. And you're going to take your back panel and make sure you have your marks on the panel where your zipper needs to be positioned. Because we're not going to sew around the whole thing, so we're just going to attach our centers and clip around. No, I do not like to snip at all into my zipper. So I think they frame more when you do that. I'm just going to carefully clip. I'm a quilter, so I do use a lot of pins sometimes. I'm going to take the time to go around that. Just going to make a mark on my zipper. And do the same going the other way. Just easing it around those corners. If you had smaller clips, I do have some small ones somewhere, but they would be handy for this too. Just squeezing it down with my fingers as I go. I'm going to transfer that mark to my zip. So I know where I'm stopping and starting. I'm going to clip a little bit further than I'm going to sew so it holds my zipper in place. Same on this side. I can see where my start is, but I just want to get that zipper curved all the way around. I'm just reading the directions. I'm going to baste that in, making sure everything's out of the way. I broke a needle the other day on a piece of hardware, so I don't want to do that again. Take your time, go slow around the corners, a couple stitches at a time, and readjust. Okay. Now she says at this point just to zip it back up again. Make sure everything's lined up where you need it. That looks good. Mind you, it's not the full seam allowance yet, so we'll get to that, but it looks good. And I have stapled both ends of my zippers. Not that it would be a big problem, but I staple both ends so my zipper pulls don't come flying off mid-sew. Okay. That lining piece. Apparently there is definitely a top and a bottom to this, so make sure I marked T for top, so I knew that this was the top part. Okay, now we're going to pin this. Now that the zipper's pinned, basted in, we're going to clip it. I think I say pinned because I don't know why I say pinned. It's clips. Sometimes I use pins, but not on this stuff. Well, I am going to transfer my mark that I made. Make sure I have it on this side so I can actually see it. Grab an ink pen. Okay, and we're going to sew that around at the seam allowance. Starting and stopping at our little marks that we made. Remember to keep in mind your zipper tabs underneath. Zipper pulls. It should be out of the way now because we've got everything open. Yeah, we do. Okay. Now we're going to turn this. Pull my seams a bit, get them all pulled out, and then I'm going to go over to my iron and press it. I'll be back. Okay, now we're going to top stitch. I just gave that a little steam. Just kind of work the seams out with my fingers. Now we're just going to do our top stitching. And we're doing it from where we started and stopped with our zipper marks. Alrighty, it's coming along nice. I'm going to zip it up and see what it looks like at this point. Again. You can see it's starting to take shape. It's looking good. I just got my pocket just right in the right spot there. It's not too high, not too low. Okay, let's see what our next step is. Okay, now we're going to take the back that we just sewed and we're going to baste it like we did the front. And we are going to baste from the top edge where the zipper meets. Okay. And we're going to baste right from this top edge here, all the way down. Be careful with your D-rings. If you've got D-rings on the back like me, it goes out of the way. my D-ring out of the way again. Okay. And zip this together. Now we're going to trim off these zipper ends. Just making sure I get this clipped right. A little bit that I want to trim away there, just a little bit. Sticking out a bit too far. Okay, try that again. D-rings out of the way. Okay, let me just quick look at the instructions. Make sure your zippers are open a bit because you're going to have to get in there and turn it anyway after we do the binding. Okay, so this is it all put together. We want our zippers flat along the sides. And then we'll sew it together. It's looking good. Make sure my side seams are caught. Yep. Just going to trim up that little bit of zipper that's kind of sticking out there. That side's good. Let's give this a little turn. See how it looks from the other side. That's basically our bag done, except for the binding and the strap. How cute this is, guys. It's so cute. The clamshell sling. Poking around the edges. Sometimes I like to use the other end of my turner to run along seams. How cute that is. I'll give it all a little press. But I have to go, I'll go cut some binding for it. I didn't cut any binding. I'll go do that. I'm going to use the waterproof canvas that's on the inside. It's just so darn cute. Okay, I'll bring you back when I get the binding cut. Okay, I've got my binding ready. I've got a little tag I'm going to put in. I'm just going to start at the top here. I folded my, it's a 1-inch piece of waterproof canvas. And I'm just going to fold it in half. I'm going to use my clips to measure. Equally, the clip should be, as you can see, the bottom of the waterproof canvas, at the bottom of that clip, and at the bottom of that clip. This is when your clips really come in handy. So just go around the bag using your clips and checking your gauge of your clips with your waterproof canvas. If it doesn't fit, it means one side's longer than the other, but the clips are really good for that. And I'm going to tuck a little tag in here. And continue around the edge of the bag. If it's uneven, then when you sew it, it should go much easier than having to go back because you missed a spot. Or see how my clips are at the back are the same as at the front. Now's the time to make the adjustments before you sew it. And clips are our friends when it comes to binding. Checking my clips as I go around, making sure it's even on both sides. And there it is, all clipped on. We can have a look here. See, I don't like that slipped up a little bit there. You can always tell exactly if you get your clips on and just look at your clips. That's much better. This one here is a bit off. I said, if you just take a little bit of time now to do this, it's so much easier than have to go back and redo it. More clips. That should work. Okay. Take your time around the corners. I'm just going to trim that off at the top. And our bag is done, except for the strap, and I'll have to wait till my daughter comes here so we can measure for her strap. But there's the binding. Pressing along my edges again. And there she is. And I'll come back and show what it looks like with the strap on. We haven't got that done yet. She has to pick out what strap she wants, but I do like the idea of the D-rings. Back slip pocket. Just for a quick throw your card in. I don't think it's big enough for a phone, but you could throw your keys in there, or a bus pass or something. And that's it. That's the clamshell sling from Spencer Ogg. And I'll come back and I'll show you the final with the strap on. All right, guys, here it is all finished. There's my strap that I put on. I used 1.5 inch webbing, and I did a regular removable strap. So I did the D-rings on the back, and I just used the lobster clips. So it could be removable, and you could take it off and wear it around your waist or over your shoulder, like people do wear it on their chest. And that's it, the Clamshell Sling by Spencer Ogg. It was a very fun make, and I think I might make more. And as a matter of fact, I did make another one. I need a bigger one. So this one is done at 110%. So I didn't film it because it's the exact same as this one, as the other one, the black one. But I'll give you some idea of the regular size and the one that's been increased by 110%. So it's same on the back. Removable clips so you can wear it waist or crossbody. And that's it, the Clamshell by Spencer Ogg. Thank you so much for watching me do this. I'm having fun making my first videos. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. I really, really do appreciate. And you guys have a good rest of the day. Thank you so much.